Hello fellow duelists and collectors. Today I'm going to be showing you my new best version of my Blackwing deck that I hope gives you a good reference as to if you're building your own or what to do if you want to start with good cards. Okay, here we go. One, Dark Arm Dragon. I think that's pretty obvious because he is a really good card for any dark deck, and a lot of people don't run him today, but I think he still has the potential to be a game changer and be very useful in today's format. But he's not entirely necessary. Two, Chris the Crack of Dawns. He's very good. Not good enough to have three, unfortunately, but he's a really good monster, even though you don't really need his ability to protect from spells and traps. He's got 1900 attack, and that's really good for Black Whirlwind, so you definitely want two of him, very generally. And then one Shura, he actually has gotten better since the new format, actually, so he's being reincorporated into Blackwings, but I always thought he was good, honestly. I always wanted to continue running him, and he's always been a favorite of mine. But bringing out another monster from the deck, and especially with so much variety, is really good. Three Boras. I actually am using three Boras, even though some people run two. I think that its ability to special summon and its piercing damage is just overwhelmingly good. And for a lot of people who use tokens these days who are all in the defensive, this just destroys them and is very helpful. Three Simoon. I think this is very self-explanatory and very necessary nowadays. I mean, its ability to give you Black Whirlwind is unparalleled, and it's just a good card to have, honestly. Like, it's so essential for Blackwings now that you almost couldn't run an effective deck without him. But if you can't afford him, honestly, I don't know what your plan is, but you have to try. One, Zephyros. He should be pretty self-explanatory, but his once per duel special summon is incredibly good and very helpful. Two Kalutes, and honestly, I recommend two Kalutes because the attack advantage it can give you, except for Blackwing Full Armor Master, is just so great to have for any of your Blackwings. I would highly recommend it. It's a really good card and really helpful in tight spots, especially if you want to just get rid of it. It's another fodder card. Three Gales. Honestly, Gale is incredible, and to not have him in the deck would be it would be not very usable. But I actually run three because he gives you the special summon, and it's a good tactic to force your opponent to give up an effect veiler or something of a strategic move that could be harmful to you later, but this makes them force to do it sooner. So it's good to use, and also it's a tuner, and it's just really great. It's got so much versatility. We have three Oster. Now, Oster is very good. He's like Blizzard, except for from remove from play. And he honestly, putting the wedge counters on all your opponent's monsters can be a game changer. He's really good. And I would recommend him at 3, even though you could run him at 2. He's still really good. Two Blizzards, because it's a free link, free synchro, even it could be a free XE if you use it with Hamaten, but I don't run a 2-star XE. But he's just really good, and honestly, you don't have to run 2, but I run 2 still. Hamaten. Hugely underrated when he came out, but he's a very good card because he has the ability to change his level, and also he's a special summon even though it's once per turn. He's just a really good Blackwing that is highly underrated, especially because he can be searched with almost any Blackwing when it comes to Black Whirlwind. Also, there's one Panaki. I should have mentioned him earlier, but I think he's actually still good enough to use even though you can't special summon him. He's still a really good monster, and he's good fodder if you want to get rid of him for Allure cards for Black Feathers, but also he lets you restart the cycle of Black Whirlwind, which can be really helpful sometimes. So there's him as well. And then I run one Steam the Cloak. You could definitely run 2, and some people don't even run him, but I think he's good enough that you should run him, and adding that extra token can be just awesome. It can be really helpful, and he is definitely a good card to have nowadays. One Vayu, because honestly, you're probably going to send a good amount to the grave, and to get rid of Vayu is honestly helpful. Also, you Foolish Burial him, but he gives you the extra special summon from the grave, which can be, when you're out of options, can be life-saving. Now, Oroshi the Squall, he's really good, and I would actually recommend 1 to 2 of him, because you can even have 2 of him and he'd still be really good. He's a 1-star tuner, and he can special summon from your hand, and he's all around a pretty darn good card. So I run 1 just because if I didn't run 1, I would have to get rid of Pinaki and switch him out for Pinaki, but it's really up to your preference. I like him in the deck at 1. You could definitely run 2 though. 3 Black Whirlwind should be pretty obvious because Blackwings need Black Whirlwind in order to sustain their search power. 3 Allure, also, since Blackwings have almost never been able to have 3 Allure other than now in the format, this is super amazing. It's honestly, it's like the gates have been opened. There's a release. We're free. It's just a really good card for more draw power. 2 cards for Black Feathers. Now, honestly, you don't have to run 2 of these. In fact, you don't even have to run it, but giving you that extra draw power and that extra deck thinning is overall helpful, and even though you can't special summon, it's still a good card to have in the deck, and you could run it at 1, that would still be safe, but you don't, I would recommend it. 2 MST, because I don't have Twin Twister, but also MST is just an easy to throw away, easy to use, and not a detriment to your strategy if your opponent destroys it. So good card to have, easily replaceable though with Soul Charge or Regeki or something, staple. Monster Reborn, I think it's pretty stable. Now it's back in the game, it's attracted a lot of players, but honestly, it's just a great card. No, there's no doubt about it. Foolish Burial is primarily there for value, but honestly, you could use it for a multitude of things, and it's super helpful with like Dark Armed Dragon, or if you want to use Blizzard. It's a good card to have, and I would recommend having it in the Blackwing deck. And then 3 Threatening Roars. I actually got this idea from another YouTuber who got first place at an OTS. It actually works out a lot better than you would expect, but it's surprisingly very helpful in the deck. I thought of switching it out for Gozen Match or Rivalry of the Warlords, but Threatening Roar has actually done pretty well for me, so I would recommend it. Now to the extra deck. We have a Topologic because, well, besides the fact that I pulled it from a pack, its ability to destroy is super helpful, and it definitely can come in handy in tight spots. And then we have Firefighting Dormammu Doll, who I got recommended from another YouTuber as well, actually, is surprisingly decent in Blackwing decks and can be very helpful. And then Wee Witch's Apprentice is actually essential. Like, you need this for a Blackwing deck in today's format. Without it, I don't understand what your idea or strategy is, but it's super helpful. I would highly, highly recommend it. Then we have Evil Swarm Ouroboros, Ice Beast Zerofine, and Castel. Okay, so Evil Swarm, these all have specific services they provide that are very helpful to the deck. So he has 3 possible effects you can use, but he does require 3 level 4s, which isn't as common as you would hope, but he's still really good for his versatility. Ice Beast Zerofine lets you negate your opponent's cards, and Castel can like return to the deck or flip face down. It's just a good card to have. Plus, these 2 are winged beasts, so that actually does come in some pretty helpful situations, especially if you're siding Gozen Match. And then we have, for the synchros, we have Onimaru the Divine Thunder, Blackwing Full Armor Master, which is just, you need to have Full Armor Master in this format. Honestly, you need it. It's not even a question. He's too good to not have. Stardust Spark Dragon, he has come in a lot more handy, and I actually do have him in the deck, but you could substitute him out for like Crystal Wing Synchro or honestly a multitude of Synchro cards if your preference is different. Obsidian Hawk Joe is super good as well, on par with almost Full Armor Master or Nathung, but he's a really good card to have. I recommend having him for sure. We have Raikiri and Chidori, the brothers. I think they're pretty essential, even though a lot of people don't run both of them, or some people don't even run one of them, but I think it's a really good card. I mean, one gives you the destruction, one gives you the attack power, and one lets you special summon from the grave. They're good cards. I recommend them. Then we have a regular Armor Master, which honestly is tradable for any other Synchro card, but it's just a good card to have. And then we have Nathung, which should be pretty self-explanatory. It's a great card to have in today's format, and honestly, it's too good not to run, even though I didn't realize that before. And then we have Sohaya, who is the monster born of Blackwings, gets you back another Blackwing from the grave, and is really helpful in summoning Onimaru, but honestly, you need to run him. Anyway, that's it for this deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, please give me a like, and if you want to see more like this, please subscribe. Thank you.